Oral medications. Oral medications come in many different forms. They can be solid oral medications, which would be tablets, caplets, capsules, or gel caps. They could be liquid oral medications, which is a liquid to be swallowed or given through feeding tube, and powders that are to be reconstituted. Reconstituted means that I would take the powder, mix it with the liquid, so that it would become a usable form for the patient. In order to solve dosage problems that involve oral medications, we're going to use the methods of drug calculations to calculate the appropriate dose based on the order. We want to make sure that we round the answer according to the device or the form of the medication. For our solid oral medications, we're going to use our preferred method to calculate. Our doses are usually 3 pills or less, and only scored tablets can be divided into halves or fourths. So if the tablet is not scored, then we must give a whole tablet. So we want to round our answers to the nearest feasible dose. And one note of importance here is that if you do need to round your answer, if you get a decimal answer that you need to round to a whole number, 10% variation is allowed between dosage ordered and what's administered. So only a 10% variation, and we would find that percent change using our percent change formula, the new minus old divided by old multiplied by 100. So if you have to round the amount to a whole number, you want to check to make sure it's within a 10% variation. So let's take a look at some examples. Example 1, we have our drug label for our extra strength pain reliever. We have acetaminophen. Our doctor's order is for acetaminophen 1500 milligrams PO, which is orally, every 6 hours. How much do you give the patient for each dose? Okay, so our order is in milligrams, but I can't give the patient milligrams. I need to give the patient caplets because that's the form that I have. So when I look at the label, I need to find the dosage strength. So we can see on the label that there are 250 caplets, and the caplets are 500 milligrams. Okay, so that 250 I actually don't need in my calculation, but I need the 500 milligrams in my calculation. So my strength is actually 500 milligrams per 1 caplet. So even though it doesn't give it to us as a ratio, we want to think of it as a ratio. So I'm going to start with what was ordered, which is 1500 milligrams. I'm going to put that over 1, and I want to convert milligrams to caplets because that's what I can actually give to the patient. So our strength is 500 milligrams per 1 caplet. So my milligrams are going to cancel, and I'm left with caplets. So I'm going to multiply the numerators, divide by the denominators. So I'm going to take 1500 divided by 500, which would give us 3 caplets. So 3 caplets makes sense. Usually we don't give any more than 3. That's not to say that you can't get 4 or 5 or even 6 caplets. But if that's the case, then maybe you want a different strength of medication to give the patient. So 3 caplets would be our answer. Example 2. Our doctor's order is given for 0.4 grams orally. How much do you give to the patient? So when it's asking how much do we give, we're looking at how much do we give for 1 dose. So I'm going to start with my order, which is 0.4 grams. We'll put that over 1. Now I need to go to the label and figure out what my strength is. So I need to be careful here. It does tell me how many tablets there are, but that actually is not part of our dosage strength. Our dosage strength has to do with our weight per tablet. So we can see here that it's 200 milligrams. So that means our strength is 200 milligrams per 1 tablet. So when I set up my dimensional analysis, I had grams as my order, so I need grams next. Now my dosage strength is milligrams, so I'm going to need to do a conversion between grams and milligrams. And we know that grams are larger. And if we think of our metric line with meters, liters, grams, we have deci, centi, milli, and micro. So to get from gram to milligram, I have to move my decimal point 3 places. So there's 3 zeros here. So 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. Now my grams cancel. Now I have milligrams. So now I can use my dosage strength of 200 milligrams per 1 tablet. Milligrams are going to cancel. I'm going to be left with the number of tablets. So I end up with 2 tablets to satisfy this order. So we would give the patient 2 tablets for 1 dose. Example 3. Our doctor's order is for 20 milligrams orally BID. So BID means 2 times a day. And our question here is, how many tablets does the patient receive per day? Okay, so be careful here because most of the time we want to know how many tablets per dose, but this particular question is asking us per day. So based on our order's for 20 milligrams twice a day. So first thing I want to do is figure out how many tablets that they need to get based on the order, and then we'll figure out how much per day. So if I look at the label, our dosage strength here is going to come from the weight of the medication. So our strength would be 5 milligrams per 1 tablet. So I can start off with 5 milligrams down below, 1 tablet up top. So now my milligrams are going to cancel, and I'll be left with number of tablets, and this would be tablets that they're going to receive twice a day. So if I multiply numerators, divide by denominators, we end up with 4 tablets. So we're looking at the high end here. 4 tablets is not totally unreasonable. If I got 40 tablets, certainly that would be unreasonable. But 4 tablets is okay. If we had to give any more than that, I would say maybe we want to look at a different dosage strength. But we're going to look at 4 tablets twice a day. So in order to figure out how much for the entire day, I'm going to multiply by 2. So they're going to get 8 tablets per day. So I just need to be careful how the question is asked, what exactly I'm looking for. Example 4. Our order is for Zofran, 8 milligrams orally every 12 hours. What's available is Zofran liquid, labeled 4 milligrams per 5 mLs. Okay, so again, our order is 8 milligrams. I can't give it to the patient in milligrams. I have to give them a usable form, which would be in milliliters. So I'm going to start with 8 milligrams, put that over 1, and then I'm going to use my dosage strength. So our strength here is given as 4 milligrams, so that'll go down below so that our milligrams would cancel, and it's 4 milligrams per 5 mLs. So we're going to be left with milliliters. So I'm going to multiply numerators. 8 times 5 will give me 40, divided by 4, which gives me 10 mLs. Okay, so I always want to start with my order, put it over 1, and then use my dosage strength. Let's take a look at one last one here. Example 5. Our orders for Zithromax, 500 milligrams orally daily. And what is available is given. So if I look at the label, I need our dosage strength. So we can see here, our strength is 200 milligrams per 5 mLs. So I'm going to start with my order, which was 500 milligrams. I'm going to put that over 1. And then I need to figure out how much to give to the patient in milliliters. So using our strength, I'm going to put the 200 milligrams down below, because then our milligrams will cancel, and put the 5 mLs up top. So I use that dosage strength. Our milliliters are going to be what's left. So I'm going to multiply numerators, divide by denominator, and I end up with 12.5 milliliters. So 12.5 milliliters of the Zithromax is what they need to get orally daily.